I would like to welcome everyone for joining today's webinar. Thank you for your time. And today's webinar, we are partnering with our partners Leaping Frog to conduct this webinar. And today's topic is AI Ready Boardroom, how manufacturing leaders can make smarter decisions faster. And we have amazing panel of four speakers today on the webinar, and I will be introducing to you one by one. And first we have Navin Mahadule. He is the co-founder and delivery director at Leaping Frog Solutions with over 20 years of experience in Microsoft Dynamics ecosystem. He has led large-scale ERP transformation initiatives across manufacturing, supply chain distribution, and training industries for organizations across India and global markets. Welcome, Navin, to the webinar.
Thank you, Nilakshi. Thank you.
Next, we have Vrushank Mehta. He's the founder of Leaping Frog Solutions and a technology leader with over 14 years of experience in the Microsoft Dynamics ERP ecosystem, specializing in Navision and Business Central. Over the last 2 decades, he has worked across diverse industries, including pharma, discrete manufacturing, retail, and e-commerce, helping organizations streamline operations and accelerate digital transformation. Welcome, Vrushank, to the webinar.
Thank you, Nilakshi.
Third, we have Subramanian M. Sir. He's the CHRO at Shree NM Electricals Limited and a seasoned HR leader with over 20 years of experience in talent strategy, organizational development, and HR transformation. He has successfully led multiple large-scale greenfield projects, building HR functions from the ground up and enabling organizations to scale with strong people practices. Having contributed to workforce upskilling, leadership development, employer branding, and change management initiatives across leading organizations, he's passionate about building future-ready, high-performing organizations. Welcome, sir, to the webinar.
Thank you, Nilakshi.
And lastly, we have Mohita Unchil, ma'am. She is Associate VP HR at uKnowva with over 17 years of experience in the HR industry. Her expertise spans talent management, employee engagement, organizational development, and HR transformation. At uKnowva, she brings a unique blend of HR domain expertise and HR technology leadership, helping clients leverage digital transformation, automation, and data-driven decision making to create a future-ready workplace. Welcome, ma'am, to the webinar.
Thanks, Nilakshi. Thanks for having me.
So I think let's start the discussion. I would like an opening to the discussion with the recent study that I have studied from IBM. It's a CEO study, and it says 76% of organizations now have a chief AI officer or equivalent AI leadership structure. Yet about only 25% employees regularly use AI in their daily work. There's clearly a gap between AI ambition and AI adoption. So where does manufacturing stand on that journey today? Let's discuss this and open the form. And Subramanian sir, I will ask you first on your 2 cents, and then we can have Mohita ma'am join the conversation. So when your board asks, are we AI ready? What does that question actually mean in a manufacturing context? And honestly, how many of us have a clear answer today?
Okay. So, first of all, I should appreciate for asking this question, because it's a very high level of contextual pattern to it. When I see board ask, are we AI ready? I don't think they will be asking whether we have deployed different AI tools, how many AI tools you have deployed, and how people are using it to create emails and no. So the underlying pattern or the question is whether the organization is capable of creating business value from AI at a large scale. To simply put it, maybe I maybe or may not be right, because this is as per my perception. AI to provide insights and analytics for the business leaders to make decisions, right? So it is going to be a high level of assistant support system which of course it is required right now. In a typical manufacturing environment, I could see this three different patterns coming across. One, one, please. Sorry. In a typical manufacturing environment, this means actually three things. One is data. Second, process and mature standardized SOPs or systems and processes. Third one, skills and mindsets to change. Skills and mindset to change. So coming to the first one, do we have a reliable and connected data? So if I say reliable data means do we have the correct data? In my experience, what I've seen is typically in a manufacturing environment, yes, data are being maintained, but many a time we run around to correct some critical informations which are not being captured properly. That is a basic issue. Second, to move to the next level, are these data are connected to what? Connected to the large level of organizational wide information. If my manpower data is connected to the productivity, it has not happened so far. Going forward, can that happen? So that is an aspect that comes into my mind. That is on the data side. Second, we need to have a kind of matured and standardized processes in place so that AI can generate meaningful insights. Because what you give us an input, in a standard process workflow, right? The output is expected as standard as possible, right? So
Yes.
that is the second thing. Third, the most important thing, do our people have the skills and mindset to work alongside AI-driven decision making? So these are the three things which are to be noted. The honest answer is that many organizations are still somewhere along the journey, right? Because it's a evolution. Things are just coming up. 3-4 years before, no one thought of ChatGPT would create some kind of evolution in the market. That now everybody is using ChatGPT, like how WhatsApp created that kind of change.
True.
So many people are, in fact, many companies are trying to get into that bandwagon. And I can say that still these I will still say that these people are these companies are curious enough to get into this. Then some companies are successfully ran some pilot project, right? I was one of the team member of implementing some projects. We were in my previous organization in Wellspun Grove. We wanted to automate the talent acquisition process. While we were doing some kind of automation, we realized that AI could add a lot of value. So we embedded AI into the tool, and we were started creating job description. That was at a basic level, but yes, it was still I can say that it was an initiative at a pilot level, and we could do that successfully. We moved to the next level, but still it was a tool which was still worked at an isolated level. It was part of my recruitment tool, part of my HRMS. Within that HRMS, only small portion. What next? So that was not discussed. So very few companies actually embedded AI into the day-to-day operational across the organization level. So that is at the company level. From the HR perspective, if you ask me, AI readiness is equally the readiness of your workforce, right? It's about whether we have the right skills, learning agility, leadership capability, and data foundation. So all these are required to adapt to the next wave of change. So coming back to the original question, when the board asked, are we AI ready? My response would be, the better question is, are we data ready?
Oh, interesting.
We need to ask, are we skill ready? Then we need to ask, are we change ready? Right? Because these are the foundations are in place. So AI adaptation become much easier are much more scalable when you have the foundation, right? And
Right.
that is something, which I can think of to respond to this question.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, sir, for your input, and what a interesting start to the webinar. You have literally set the foundation for sure. Mohita ma'am, would you like to have your two thoughts on that?
Absolutely. And I absolutely agree with whatever Subramanian sir had said. Are we data ready? Are we skill ready? Are we process ready? That is, I believe, across the board, all boards, every organization that is talking about AI, these are the questions that they are asking about. Definitely, I completely agree with that. So I will not be reiterating whatever it is that Subramaniam sir has said. Just my a couple of things that I want to add to it. What I have seen during the course of my interaction with board members, apart from data, people, and process, they are also worried about three other things.
Hmm.
Um, uh, I think they are also talking about competition. So, are we the leaders in it, or are we following behind someone? Is it a fad that we are just doing it? That was a conversation that used to happen a couple of years ago. I don't think anyone is asking about the fad, but they are
Hmm.
definitely asking what else is the competitor doing? What else can we bring to it? What else can AI do for us? So
Hmm.
that is another thing that a lot of organizations are asking, that apart from, okay, yes, data, and therefore our dashboards and analytics, they are also asking about what other processes can we automate using AI, what
Right.
currently is happening manually or repetitively that we can offload to an AI, a bot, to do this. So
Right.
that is something I think that a lot of people are asking. And also another worry that they have is governance. We are all talking about AI, but what about the governance structures?
Hmm.
Are we ready with the governance structures internally? What AI we are bringing, does that have the capability of managing our governance structure?
Hmm.
So that is another thing that when we're talking about AI readiness, this is another thing that the board asks. And the
Right.
one thing, especially with regards to manufacturing industry, I think the emphasis, even whilst using AI, is how do we get this acceptance even with our blue collared employees? How do
Oh.
we make AI simpler or AI processes acceptable with it? So, what Sir said, change management, but
Hmm.
especially for manufacturing organizations, I think yes, this is another big question that they normally ask. And now the second part of your question as to how many manufacturing companies are doing things pertaining to AI. Honestly, quite a lot of people are doing things with AI. Whether or not they're doing it correctly is a question. What I have seen currently, and it's not just manufacturing industry, I think it's across the board, is that right now, because not having AI in the organization, or not accepting AI into the organization, has become a problem. So what ends up happening is you have pockets of AI. Some parts of your organizational functions, your analytics has AI capabilities, others don't. There is
Hmm.
a plan, as such, a planned approach. So
Hmm.
I have thought about using AI in something. I have done it. I've gotten an approval, and I have done it, and I've closed that loop on it. So there
Right.
isn't an enterprise strategy when it comes to what is the final plan that we are doing. How is
Hmm.
the
Like
data
a roadmap.
going to go in? Yes.
Hmm.
The board knows that AI is necessary, so AI is getting done, but nobody really knows what is done or how it is actually helping. So it's more of a vendor led activity than a strategy activity that is currently happening, especially when you're talking about
Hmm.
manufacturing, I think. but we still are on the way. So I think it's still a step in the right direction. It needs to pivot a little bit so that we are in the right track as well as the right direction.
Okay. Thank you, Mohita ma'am. I think we are in the right direction to ask what we are, at which level we are right now. And that brings me to open a new angle to Vrushank and Navin here. Vrushank, let's start with you first. Like, within a manufacturing organization, which department tends to adopt AI the fastest, according to you, or your experience, or your, observations?
Okay. Thank you, Nilakshi, for that question. So, according to me, the department that is going to be an early adopter to AI is usually going to be the department that is in most pain, right? So, in the context of manufacturing, I think that's obviously going to be production planning. That's your prime sort of department that is always in the most pain, because any sort of incorrect forecasting basically means that your machines are idle, there's going to be excess inventory, and that just is going to inflate the cost. It's just going to ripple. So according to me, of course, it's production planning, and then I would say loosely followed by maybe quality control, finance. So yeah, that is going to be the order in which I would put the departments to be. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Vrushank, for your input on that. Navin, can we have your input as well?
Yeah, so I agree with Vrushank, and it is very great topic which we are discussing. So my view is everything related to the data, basically the AI behind the data. Now, when we talk about the manufacturing industry, so every industry has their respective department, like finance, procurement, then sales, then quality, and then of course the manufacturing or production. So in finance, generally they can adapt the AI easily because they have a handy data. So adoption of AI in finance department is typically easy. And right now, because of this co-pilot, the many users are doing the Excel pivot and analysis, the sheet is analysis, bank reconciliation is happening in a few clicks. So the finance guy, because these are the front office team, because they have a controlling in the organization, they have a proper data because they are compliant with the taxation, and so that is one. Second one is the sales team.
Right.
Now, because the sales team and the marketing team is very, very important. So nowadays, what they are doing, basically, they wanted to create a AI generated quotation quickly to the customer. So they are using somewhere AI because they are trending the AI with their product specification and different scenarios. Now, third, I would take a third department is the procurement department. Now, in procurement department, AI is helping them to assess the vendor rating. They can easily allocate the purchase order quantity based on the business ratio wise to the supplier. And one time they have instructed to the agent, then next time, whenever the same scenario is repeating, then the AI is doing their work on their behalf as an agent. And quality, somewhat extent, quality is also using the AI for analysis their defect problem in manufacturing. If something goes wrong during the testing, then that is happening. Now, the most interesting part is the manufacturing one. That department is equally important now because of the lacking of the data, as Subramanian sir and Mohita ma'am mentioned this thing, because there is always lacking of the data at the soft floor. At the soft floor means if the manufacturing data, the bill of material is very important. Your machine master, work center master, your cycle time, your efficiency of the machine, what is your capacities, what all the variation in your production bomb. If we will set up that data in any ERP, definitely we can use or leverage the AI tool. So that will be very helpful to the production manager also, and that will be very helpful to top management also. They can see what is real time going on the soft floor, and if they take any future decision, AI can help them whether we can meet the expected demand of to generating a faster revenue from the market. So here my conclusion is there is still many scope in the manufacturing companies, and as per my experience, they come at a last stage for AI adoption. So if the data is sensible, definitely they can leverage this AI tool. Yeah, surely. Yeah.
Thanks, Naveen. Thanks, Vrushank, for answering this question, and which makes me wonder if manufacturing organization are the last ones to adapt to AI. Now, Subramanian sir, uh, are boards in manufacturing companies actually asking AI related questions, or is it still not on the radar? Because Naveen also has the same viewpoint. And at what point does this conversation typically start at the board level? Can you share your 2 cents on that, Subramanian sir?
Sorry, can you ask that? The first part I missed. I think there was some network.
Are board members in manufacturing companies actually asking AI related questions yet? Or is it still not on the radar? Like, is it still not as of a priority for the board members in manufacturing industry?
Okay. See, typically, if you look at it in the manufacturing, you know, so how Naman, put it, yes, manufacturing is an area where the AI adaptation is a last priority because so there is a set process of the workflow, which is already happening. Okay. Unless some visionary comes in and says that we need to change entire thing overnight, then this is not going to change. And change managers are going to play a major role, very big role in this. And another thing, other industries, for example, service, ITs, and other industries where you have people who can, easily understand the concepts, behind this, right? And that would be, I would say, a little easier for them to, use that, AI, and of course, along that way, the adaptation can also be, pushed to a large extent. Whereas in the manufacturing segment, particularly on the shop floor level, the majority of people, the workflows consist of blue collar, the workers, right? So the population is high. It's typically 70-30, that is a percentage on which manufacturing company operates. 70% of blue collar people. So in this, boards are started asking, right? Because board consists of our internal leadership team members. Also our CFO used to be part of that. And in my previous experience, in my previous company, of course, the CFO was little curious, and of course, he put some questions, of course, to the minds of other directors. So in fact, he used to say a thing. Of course, he is very fond of data. So he used to say that, your data good bol sakta hai, but not your data. And this is a term, which is being used, of course, in different forums. I heard this. Of course, our CFO, very fond of, saying this at a review meetings on a regular basis. So at a level, at a high level, what is expected is insights, and that used to be a scenario a few years before, that everybody was talking about insights. So now we come to a level where people are started looking at intelligence. Okay, insights, yes, you are giving. So what is that to be done with that insight? So is there any intelligence who's that? So that is a level of thought process, yes, which has come. But I would not say that board at a overall level paying that much attention of keeping this at a shop floor level, right? It is, of course, still we need to wait for few more years to see that. But there are few companies, of course, I have not experienced, but I heard this from my professional network. There are few companies which are already doing excellent work on this aspect. For example, TVS Group, they are into the Industry 4.0, Tata Steel, Grasim, some group company in Aditya Birla. They were doing a lot of activities, and they have a kind of connected data system, and they have a kind of insight, and they have reached the level of having gathering the intelligence through AI, and basis which they are taking some business decisions. So these are the things which are happening, and happening at a very level of organization, where they realize the potential of technology, digitalization.
Right.
These are all things which have started long before, and AI, of course, is the evaluation, the next level, right? Which is also along with that. Okay, someone realize the potential of digitalization a decade before they are ahead of this AI adaptation now. So at a board level, majorly still they are lacking to ask questions relevant to or related to AI. Of course, it will take some time, but few places, yes, it is actually happening.
Thanks, sir, for your inputs. Mohita ma'am, can you expand that dialogue?
I wouldn't say manufacturing would be the last to adopt AI. I think manufacturing will adopt AI quite quickly and easily also, but their adoption would be a little different than, say, a IT organization or a services organization, where we are talking about more people-centric AI. We are talking about data that is going to give us the analysis about the people itself. I think manufacturing industries over the last year or so have realized how AI can be used to give predictive analysis of the shop floor itself. And I think that is the one place that the adoption is going to be very, very high, where you will be able to understand. So one of the biggest problems that manufacturing industries have, like even Subramanian sir said and Naman said and Vrushank also reiterated, was the adoption because of the blue-collared employees, right? Now, one issue that we've noticed in manufacturing industries with blue-collared employees is how do we is getting the employees according to the demand itself, like getting the employees onto the shop floor according to the demand of production itself. And I think there are these areas where AI is going to help manufacturing industries quite a bit. Now, the question as to whether the board is asking about AI itself or whether they are asking the right questions, they are asking questions. They are asking questions like, what is our strategy? What are we doing? What is it, like I said, what is the one thing that is currently happening manually that we can probably automate? So these are questions that are coming up, and they, again, like I said, it's in the right direction. We just need to pivot it a little bit to be on the right track as well as the right direction. But also, majority of the time that AI conversation normally happens is because something is failed, or because my competition is using AI, then why shouldn't I use AI? Why couldn't we think about AI beforehand, and so on? But that, I think, over a period of time, that will resolve itself. I think the HR needs to be on the front foot in this, instead of what is traditionally happening, which is the IT and the the operations team, which is leading the AI conversation. I think the HR team has to now pivot as well. The HR departments have to pivot as well and understand and bring in synergies with AI for the manufacturing industry, because they have the pulse of the industry. They are the ones who are managing, like sir said, 70% of the workflow in manufacturing industry is blue collar. They know the challenges that that organizations face with having 70% of your workflow force being blue collared. And if we can get AI which can make the operations pertaining to blue collared employees easier, if we can get an AI that can stitch the gap between the blue collared employees and the operations shop floor itself, that conversation, I think once that happens, the adoption within manufacturing industry is going to be very, very high.
Great. Thank you, ma'am.
Sorry, Nilakshi, I just would like to add one point.
Yes, definitely.
What Mohita said was very interesting. Yes, how to stitch together everything at a shop floor level. That actually provides the opportunity for upskilling and multi-skilling of your workforce, right? Which is crucial for, because this is a concept which everybody is talking about, right? Upskilling, multi-skilling, person working in one function move to another function, enhancing your skill level to take up additional responsibility. Traditionally, that is a kind of thought process which is there. But when AI comes in, right, the entire definition of upskilling, multi-skilling itself is changed, right? It actually now we'll have to look at enhancing the agility level of employee as well as the overall organization level, right? For that, what needs to be done? Yes, upgrade ourselves. Yeah, what are the opportunities? Yes, there are many opportunities with the introduction of AI. Of course, many things which can be done. Conversation around this are already happening at a different level. Okay, but some places it is at a mature level, some places it is at a very beginning stage.
No, I think we have set the stage that we understand the conversations are happening, but still there is a lack, and that's why I want to shift the conversation to Vrushank and Navin. So, Navin, you can start with that. What are the top 2 or 3 reasons why manufacturing companies start this journey or this conversation and yet stall? Is it budget, internal resistance, ineffective data quality, or something else entirely? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so that is again interesting. Thank you. So as per my experience, because we have done a lot of implementation there, so budget, I won't say the budget is a problem. So budget is not the real problem. Is when we do the implementation, there is a lack of ownership. So what happened, what we have seen, basically this ERP implementation, everybody says it is a IT department project. Nothing. IT head should lead this. He is responsible, single person. So I think that should be changed, because everybody is equal responsible for ERP implementation. Rather than, if I tell you frankly, each process department owner is equally responsible for ERP implementation. So the first point for here is, it is not a budget, it is about the ownership. If we are taking the ownership, any organization is taking the ownership to do the successful implementation, then we can achieve the implementation within the timeline which we have decided, and whatever the budget which we have freezed or we have capped, we can do that efficiently. That is one thing. Second thing is, the second challenge is, it is particularly in the manufacturing organization, which I have seen personally, lacking of the data, master data basically. So if finance is ready with their chart of account, purchase is ready with their procurement plan, but when we go into the soft floor, the people are not ready with the correct bill of material information. So there may be a challenge to collect that data. It will take time, because there is a many way to they are using some manual process or Excel driven process, or in their existing system, which custom system which they are using. They are not right, because they are using this process since quite long. We can't say you are doing wrong and this is the correct process. So here the consulting role come into the picture, where the consultant or the implementation partner can explain them, this is the industry best practice. other industries are following in this manner, this particular process, and this way you should collect the data easily. So that challenge we can overcome. So that is the second challenge, that is the data availability. And third one is, that is very important. Basically, the third one is the change management. As I told you, they are using the other system, and very users are very clear. I am doing this activity in this way. I click there. My work is done. And he is asking or requesting the similar kind of system should be designed in front of it. So that is one thing. Another challenge is the change management. So if we address these three challenges, so definitely budget, again I am saying budget is not a real problem. Only we have to have a proper approach during the implementation, and these are the three challenges which personally I have identified during the implementation.
Okay, great. I think these are very interesting points, and often, in fact, with my discussions with HRs, usually they come up with budget as the priority. That is the topmost challenge. But here is a very different angle that you're adding on to.
I think Naman has rightly put it. Sorry to interrupt again. Naman has rightly put it.
So I think I'm very sorry to all of you. My name is Navin. It is not a Naman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I'm really very sorry to all of you. Now it is correct. Yeah, sir, please.
So, again, sorry to interrupt Nilakshi on your continuous workflow. What I've seen or observed in different occasions, right? That any kind of implementation of any technology digitalization related project was always seen as technology implementation, right? That connected aspect, whether it is connected with all the department or not, that is something, that is where I'm actually agreeing to what Navin said. Yes, it cannot be viewed as a technology project. It may be seen as business transformation process, project, right?
Yes,
that is when you may able to create, or you can create that kind of ownership, record to drive this across function. Each department or function need to have a kind of assigned responsibility to drive this forward, right? So if you identify as a technology project, yes, it will be dedicated only to the IT function or people, those who are managing implementation of this project, or implementation partner comes, implements, and he goes away.
Right.
That is where it got stuck.
Right. Vrushank, do you have any thoughts to add on to that?
I think Navin and Subramanian ji have sort of covered all the points
the entire
generally.
covered.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, if we are talking from a pure AI project implementation, many times because AI is in that glory state right now where people believe AI to hona hi chahiye, so people call up and they tell us, yaar AI mein kuch karne ka hai. Right, so we tell them क्या करने का है. They don't have any idea, but they're like, यार बाकी सब कर रहे हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ तो करना चाहिए. So if you are starting a project on those basis that कोई दूसरा कुछ कर रहा है इसीलिए करना है, and you don't have a clear plan, that's basically you're starting a project which is going to end up in a failure. Yeah, without actually what you want to achieve, like what use cases do you want to work, and how is it going to improve your workflow? How is it going to improve your your system? So that is one point apart from all the other points that Navin and Subramanian ji said. The other thing and that happens in most of the software projects, is that when you start off with a project, right, you build a scope, and there are 10 points in scope.
Right.
Now when you're actually in the journey of implementing that, there are different actors that come into play, and they're like, yaar ye kar raha hai to ye bhi ho hi jayega, ye to yaar possibly 100% ho hi jayega, and that what happens is, like your 10-month maybe project goes up to 15 months, 16 months, and eventually that enthusiasm with the project dies down because it's not nearing an end. People are just trying to push in everything into that one single implementation. So that also, I think plays a fairly integral part in in project failures. Apart from everything else, and yeah, resistance, and I also believe that budget has nothing to do with it. It's purely all the other points that everybody has covered. Yeah, so
Great.
that's my take on it.
Great, all of you, for sharing that, and setting an entire spectrum to as to why it fails and where we are stuck at the moment. So we have discussed about the AI readiness and why we fail when it comes to adoption. Right now, I want to expand that chain of thought with Mohita ma'am. HR data is often the last one to make it into the boardroom discussion or dashboard. Okay, with respect to checking the insights and the outcome. Why is that? And what has to change on the HRMS side for HR to become a real input in a strategic decision?
So I think when we're talking about automating the HR functionality itself, right? How we've gone about it is, okay, there's nothing which is automated, so let's automate something first. Once that automation happens, then we are talking about policies pertaining to automation and how to make that automation better. Once we did that, then we started talking about the numbers and getting those numbers into the system, right? And it is only now that we are talking about analytics. It's not that we haven't thought of analytics or we have not been talking about analytics for the last decade, since the time that the automation of HR functionalities itself started, or the HRMSs became a thing to have. But I think even today, the numbers that we are getting out of HRMSs or out of most HR systems is very operational. It's very one one-sided. It is, okay, how many employees do I have? What is the amount of money that I'm spending on people's payroll? Or how many openings I have and how many openings I've closed? It's very operational, you understand?
Right.
It is only in the last 1 or 2 years we've started talking about analytics itself. We're talking about turnaround times, and we are talking about increases or decreases in numbers. But still, we are still stuck at that stage where we are talking about increases and decreases in numbers or the numbers itself. Today, if I have to go to the boardroom and I have to show my HR data, what I need to do is I need to spend a good 10-15 days with the data that the system has gotten me and study the data and then create a storyboard out of the data. The data itself is already fragmented, so I have to first correct the data what I have gotten from the various systems and then accordingly build a storyboard, and that takes time. And if I were to go with the raw data to the board and I were to show this is the number of employees I have in my organization and this is what I'm spending on payroll, they'd be like, yeah, how does this help me? Am I going to reduce the number or increase the number basis the numbers that you've shown me? No. I mean, decisions cannot happen that way, right?
Right.
It's only now that we have moved out of that. We are bringing intelligence to the data itself. And what needs to be done to get the HR data into Boardroom is that it is to get intelligence into the data. And how do we do that? One issue is the data fragmentation, right? So data is coming to us from various systems within the same system, because it is coming from various modules, the data may not match. So one is to have a canonical data model, one source of truth where you're getting all the data and you're building your dashboard on the basis of that. What things like Power BI has done for us. Another is to build systems itself, which are not systems of record, and go one step further and become systems of intelligence. When you're building systems, you build systems keeping in mind outcome linked matrix instead of just numbers, right? So I think these are two things. I mean, there are many things, real-time data versus pipeline data, yeah, different kinds of indicators and instrumentations and so on. But I think the stepping stones is one source of truth and creating intelligent systems. Whether you're creating it, you're getting it from outside, you get intelligent systems which will help you in getting the matrix that you do not need to then further work upon. I think if that happens, then the data going to Boardroom would not be that difficult.
Great. Thank you, Mohita ma'am, for your thoughts on that. Subramanian sir, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think Mohita has explained in a very detailed way. Of course, in line with what she said, as per me, the HRMS platform what we have, that is something which need to be much more superior than what has been seen over the last few years. So my expectation that simply sharing attrition analysis is not enough, okay, for any review meeting, even into the board members, okay. Right. So what else need to be shared, because giving attrition analysis is a kind of simple metrics, of course, again which data comes from a source. You have only that information which is in a isolated segment. So what happens because of that attrition, right? Is there any impact? The attrition that is going to create any skill shortage in my shop floor, right? So this is the level. So this is what we call it intelligence, right? Whether the leadership gaps which we have, right, will it impact my business continuity? Or if I have any expansion plan, will it impact my expansion plan? Whether the workforce capability I have is keeping in pace with the automation and maybe the AI investment which we are doing. So these are the areas where we need to have not just a report, we need to have insight as well as intelligent data, and that output would be record to be presented, right? HRMS should have the capability to provide these kind of insights, and that is when we can say yes, that actual shift is happening, right? So when HRMS can predict the talent risk, skill gaps, succession readiness, maybe workforce demand for the future requirement, because currently we are doing manpower planning for the 1 year period. Typically, in a manufacturing environment, what I have experienced, we do manpower planning, and that happens for 4 to 5 months, or places wherever I worked. Okay. Yeah. So manpower planning is something that which you are doing it for the current need, current financial year. Whereas we need to come out of it and we need to plan for future requirement, right? So what is the future skills which I need to deploy 3 years, 5 years down the line? For that, what I need to do now. Okay, so these are some areas where the insights and intelligence is required from the HRMS part. To sum it up, I prefer the HRMS, the future HRMS will not be judged by how effectively it supports in managing people process and providing the related reports. It will be judged by how effectively it helps the leadership team to make better business decisions, right? Business decisions related to different functions. I'm not emphasizing only on the HR angle, right? HR is also part of the business anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you, sir, for your inputs. Definitely, I think insights and intelligence can be a good blend to make HRMS future ready for the entire organization, not just the HR function. That's very well put. Now, Navin, I would like to ask you, like for a CFO or IT head, evaluating whether to invest in integrating their HRMS or ERP, what's a realistic timeline and what should they use to measure ROI in first year?
Oh yeah. So basically, the realistic timeline to integrate the HRMS with the ERP, I would say it is 16, I think 8 to 10 weeks task as I analyze it, because implementation should be start with the right analysis process, then design, then what data we have to integrate, then testing and everything. So you can say it will take not more than 2 months. It is from if we start from scratch to analysis phase to deployment. And now the question is how to follow the process. So the process, because now we are talking about the HRMS, which should be effectively integrated in the ERP. So the Subramanian sir in the last question, they have taken a very, very good example. Like a manufacturing head or the shop floor head have a request of the manpower. Now the requisition should be raised in ERP, because in ERP we have a demand planning, we know what to deliver, what to produce, and we know the workload of each shift and versus what we need to produce. So based on that, if the requirement will get generated in the ERP, it should fully integrated with the HRMS system for the future requirement, and then the HRMS will help to provide that particular workforce on that particular timeline. And the vice versa, when we are presenting some information to the board for taking the decision, then again the system is integrated and we can analyze this is the manpower cost which we are incurring during my last production which we have made in the last month, and we can take the decisions accordingly. So Nilakshi, the integration is not a challenge now, because there is a very good technology called API integration. Everybody to have a system on cloud, and easily we can expose the information to other system. We can consume the information on the real-time basis. So trail and error gone. There is no log entries. The data is not syncing properly. So it is very easy. It is very fast. And if you take an example of manufacturing organization, again, it is not a complex integration work. It is 1 to 2 months job. It is, so as per me,
Great. And thank you, Navin. And thank you for taking that conversation forward. Vrushank, do you have anything to add with respect to what should we measure as the ROI in first year of the implementation?
Sure. Yes. So I would say there are 3 points on how the management can measure ROI on on this integration. First one is how many hours was your HR and your finance team spending before the integration, and how much are they spending on after integration on payroll processing, reconciliation right now. So that would be my first sort of how I would measure my ROI. The second is by measuring the error rates on payroll. So every correction that we do is going to cost manual human time, and if we are integrating this in a way where corrections human intervention itself is less, then we are reducing the human time aspect to it, and therefore the errors to it.
Right.
And third is from accounts department background, we typically do this so that accounts can close books faster at the month end, and with fewer surprises, with fewer errors, right? So now with this integration, if you're getting your payroll financial data, it just helps our finance team to month end close way quicker than having two systems. So basically, I would say for any management, implementing this, if we have these 3 points in place, it becomes pretty easy for them to measure their return on investment.
Great, thank you, Navin and Vrushank, once again. And let's move towards the closing question, because then we have to take some Q&A questions well. And the last question to everyone of you can answer that like within 1 minute or so. So the question is, 2 years from now, what will separate the manufacturing companies that got AI readiness right from the ones who did not? Vrushank, you can only start with that.
Okay. Fine. I'll start with that one. Uh, so the question is, 2 years from now, how will companies who have adopted AI be different to those ones who haven't? Right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So 2 years from now, the gap between the companies that have adopted AI and not adopted AI is not necessarily going to be that what tools that company is using and how much money they have spent. Basically they will definitely get the the advantage of being the first ones to adopt it. Therefore they're getting clean data and data with which they can create their decisions much quicker than any other organization which has adopted it later. So that would be my 1 minute answer to that.
Great. Mohita ma'am, you can answer next.
I think, yes, I agree. About data. One thing that would be different is the company who's adopted AI today to a company who's adopted AI 2 years later. One thing is that they will have better data, cleaner data, a more concise and a more accumulated data. But apart from that, as well, I think another thing that will happen that would be different between these organizations operationally is that the CHRO and CEO would, over a period of time, I think, will be solving the same problem. Especially if the CHRO is in talks or is a part of the strategy building of AI adoption from the first day, then the CHRO and the CEO are working hand in hand and they are talking about the same problems, they're solving the same problems, and the gap between a CHRO and CEO that will be that much lesser, I think.
Nice. Thanks, ma'am. Navin, you can share your thoughts next.
Yeah, Nilakshi. So as we know that AI, everybody is using is very rapidly. So down the line, if after 2 years, if company is not adapting the AI, then my view is very dangerous and really it is a very realistic. So suppose every business has their competitors, right? And every business started with the sales. Now sales come into the picture where we have to give a proper quotation, competitive quote to our customers. Now if we want to give the competitive quote, and if you do not have a proper data, cleaner data, if you do not have a AI and your competitor is having a AI, now every customer is a hurry because they also wanted to make a revenue. They will not wait for you. That is a very, very real example. So somebody in manufacturing organization, now they are integrating their ERP system, CRM system, HRMS system. Why they are doing this? Because the turnaround time, the deals time, they should be minimized with a proper accurate information. So if a competitor is offering 5% discount, then we have to immediately take a decision whether I can offer it or not. Now taking a decision, giving the discount, it is really we need something as an AI tool where my data is integrated, connected, my predicted model is available, so I can take a decision faster. If I take a decision faster, then I can convert business faster. So that is my stake. So yeah.
That's a really dangerous viewpoint for sure. We might lose out on the business if we don't integrate AI. Subramanian sir, what's your take on that?
Yeah. So, I, believe a biggest differentiator will be the companies, those who have, adopted, AI, and, they have got everything, right, and AI readiness now. So the biggest differentiator will be the workforce agility, right?
Oh, nice.
And the ability to stay competitive, right? That competitive edge. So these are the two biggest differentiator I could think of in this scenario. From 2 years from now, the companies with most AI tools, just understand, companies with many AI tools may not be the actual winners. Instead, the companies that successfully combined AI with skilled people, a strong leadership, and of course, there is a cultural element also, culture that open to learn and change. With these aspects in place, even if that AI investment is not as much as with the companies with many AI tools, the other company will do definitely perform better. At the end of the day, what matters is the business performance, right? If AI could support, yes, definitely people will go to that. And there is one point which I wanted to make it, because I think Navin made that point in one of the questions. Competitors are doing that, is why we were also forced to do something. Okay, so this is the common thing which has been noticed. My competitors are doing something, that then I should move into the same direction, because competitors are X, you are Y, right? So what is required for him is different, what is required for you is different. So what is a basic thing on which the entire transformation journey can be defined is putting a clear cut definition of what is your business problem, the problem statement, right? So why you want to implement AI to enhance productivity, right? To enhance the overall performance, of course, to improve the business outcome, right? Identify risk. There are so many things which I can say. So you need to put your problem statement clearly, then you develop, then you adapt, right? So if it is very clearly defined and adapted, I think two different big things I could see 2 years from now is the workforce agility and the competitiveness.
Great. Thank you, Subramanian sir. In fact, I would like to thank all of you for sharing your insights today on this webinar. It was a very interesting start and very dangerous end to the webinar. And I have some Q&A questions right here. I would like just each one of you to answer, and then we'll wrap up the entire discussion. First, someone is asking, how do you reduce the reluctance of teams to adopt the technology? Any best practices? Navin or Vrushank, any one of you would like to take this up?
Yeah, so that is very valid question. So basically, anybody is reluctant to adopting the technology, then definitely we have to explain. We have to understand how they are doing process currently. How we have to explain how the this current system will help them, how it is user friendly. We have to understand their problem statement, then we have to explain the industry best practice for them. So this way we can really minimize the gap, and they can adapt the latest system.
Great. So the next question is, there is always a risk while implementing tech in manufacturing, especially when it requires process changes. What are the best ways to mitigate these risks? Mohita ma'am, would you like to take this up? And then Subramanian sir, you can also take this up.
Sure. I think the best way to do this is by planning. So when you are entering AI, you do not enter, actually not just AI, manufacturing industry where any change management, you do not just do it haphazardly. He has already said there are a lot of moving pieces over there. You cannot just do it because you want to do it, right? There has to be a plan, especially when you're talking about AI. We are talking about a holistic plan. You do proper planning, you have your contingencies ready, you've already taken care of the risk, and only then you step into the actual implementation for it. And I think that is true for a lot of industries across the board, but for especially for manufacturing industry, the best way to mitigate it is to have a proper AI plan and not just do it haphazardly, not just have one bit of it automated, the rest is all working. In silos, it wouldn't work.
True.
Like Subramanian sir said,
Hmm.
2 years down the line, the company which has the most AI automation may not win, but the company who has stitched all of these AI automations together, who've done AI implementation and adoption, planned it and done it strategically, only they are going to make a difference to the overall, the overall productivity of the organization as such. That's my two bits.
Thank you, ma'am. Subramanian sir.
Can you ask the question again?
Okay.
Why I'm asking?
There's
Because I'm
always
finding some difficulty in hearing this.
okay.
Some network problem. So
Okay. So I'll just ask again. There's always a risk while implementing tech in manufacturing, especially when it requires process changes.
yeah,
And
got it.
so what are the best ways to mitigate these risks?
Okay. Yes. So I heard that answer without knowing the question. So I think she was clearly explained. Uh, Change management is something that which need to be in place, right? Change management is a practice. It's a plan and it has to be practiced.
Hmm.
Majority of the companies, at least in India, right, follows a hierarchical structure. That means whatever your boss says or does, that has to be follow and continue. So that is why we always insist that change, if there is any change management initiative, that has to be start from top, right? Okay, if we are insisting people to come on time, then boss has to come on time. Then automatically people in the team will come on time. And if the person has to work 8 hours, then the boss has to work for 8 hours. So it is a system which is there traditionally in the mindset. That is one aspect, that is a small aspect. Second, if हम तो traditionally हम तो use यही है, शाम दान भेज दान जो करना है आप कर लो. Everything possible to implement that. Okay. So what may go wrong? Okay, when you make this change, that is something which you need to analyze even before going for the change, right? So by implementing this, what is going to change? Whether it is beneficial to the people, whether it is beneficial to the organization, right? Then that has to be communicated continuously to the people, right? And of course, so different aspects. It's not just one solution for that, and it has to be pushed from top, and that communication has to be given clearly. And that if there is a risk element, of course, we need to ensure that it is not coming out during the change.
Great. Thank you, sir. That is a very valuable insight to that question. I'm taking up a last question. Vrushank, you can add your thoughts to that. How real is the fear of token cost for using AI layers?
Okay, so look, tokens are expensive, just because creating LLMs right now is very power intensive. So that is why they've attached that token cost. But having said that, there are different LLMs, which will sort of, not all the LLMs have the same token cost. So it depends on what you want to use, for instance, Claude for, or ChatGPT for, or Gemini for. You can select the correct LLM so that, you can reduce the cost of tokens. The second thing, because I come from a technology background and I use a lot of Copilot and Claude to do development, one thing that I've noticed is that if you give these LLMs a very predefined proper document outlining what you want, then it tends to use far less tokens, as opposed to when you're trying to converse with the LLM. Because when you're trying to converse it with it, it's going to, at every question, it's going to again look at what you had asked earlier, what it answered earlier. It's going to look at the data that you had given and then form an answer. So try and concise as much as you can in the first draft document. That will
Right.
save you the cost. So that's my answer to that.
Okay, I think let's wrap up the discussion. I would like to thank each and every one of you again. It was a very beautiful, insightful discussion that we had, and we will be sharing the recording with you all, and we'll be uploading this webinar on YouTube and our other social channels as well. So, thank you.